What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Universal Mastery. Welcome back to my channel. What I do here is I break down the occult sciences to a very practical degree so that you can use them and apply them in your day-to-day life and get real, actual results with it simply by just using your awareness and observation. Okay, so first thing first, let me give you a little bit of a context of who I am. My name is Jeremiah Schwartz. I am a professional occultist. I am fully initiated in Kabbalah, being the front of the tree and the back side of the tree. I'm studied when it comes to the 22 archetypal paths, and I'm also studied when it comes to planetary energies in regards to astrology. Okay? This is just to give you some understanding of who you're getting this information from, first and foremost, because obviously that is very important. Okay? Now, what is the topic of today's video? It's not going to be a crazy long video, but I do want to make a video on this, and I want to give some awareness of what's to come. Okay, so the topic of today's video is going to be it's going to be in direct regards to what is actually happening right now, mass collectively, and being shown on almost every news channel right now. So this is a big deal. This is currently happening right now as we speak, and I believe this happened on the I believe this happened yesterday, which was the 24th. And this, as I said, this is a big deal. Okay, let me figure out the exact date. So I know you're probably on the edge of your chair, like, what is the topic? What is the topic? Some of you might already know. So it's going to be on June 24th is when I believe this took place. Okay. So yeah, so the topic is going to be in regards to the building that collapsed, the high-rise building that collapsed in Dade, Miami. Okay, so for those of you that are aware of my channel and are aware of the occult field in general, you should understand by now that things don't happen for no reason. Okay, so especially when we see events like what happened in Miami, where an entire building literally just collapses. That's not random. That is very, very, very ritualistic in nature, and that was a very profound ritual, and this is going to cause a mass collective transformation. This is huge, and I'm going to be explaining that in this video. So if you want to know a little bit more about the building that collapsed, the tower that collapsed, the high-rise that collapsed, stay tuned for the rest of the video. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So, obviously, that's a very shocking event, okay, out of nowhere. First thing first, let me give you a little bit of a context of my connection to Miami. So, I literally, I lived in Miami in 2019, and that was when I started my occult initiations. It was in Miami. Specifically, I lived in South Beach, but I would also travel to Dade County as well. And I was there for an entire year, and then I ended up moving to Orlando, Florida for the year of 2020 when coronavirus broke out. Some of you that study my channel, you actually will be able to piece together my past, and you'll understand that I started off in Miami and then transferred over to Orlando, and then now I'm in the West, California. But yes, so that is my connection with Miami. Miami was the literal starting point of my self-development. That was where everything permanently changed for me, and that was when I fully enveloped myself into the momentum of spiritual evolution in a very, very deep way. So Miami has a very strong and solid place within my heart, but not only that, let's put that aside. Miami is a gateway Okay, I'm going to say this now. Miami, whether it's South Beach, whether it's Brickell, whether it's Dade County, whatever, the entire Miami location, that is a very energetically charged place. There are a lot of occult hidden potentials that naturally reside in Miami. Okay, there is a lot of occult symbolism that is just naturally there. And the reason why there's a lot of occult symbolism that's naturally there is because there's some pretty strong energetic currents that travel through Miami naturally, earth energies. And then it's right on the ocean as well, so you're getting all that energy at the same time. So long story short, Miami is a very important place. Obviously, that's why so many people love to go there. You know, that's why it's such a popular place. Because energetically speaking, on a very unconscious and subconscious level, people recognize that. They probably don't know consciously. They're just like, oh, Miami, it's fun. This is where we go to party. But reality is the reason why it's fun, the reason why it's a party place, or the reason why you go there to enjoy yourself and kick back and see the beauty of the ocean and of Miami in general, the weather, is simply because it's a very powerful location. It's a very powerful place. So we're going to leave that there. Now we have this building that collapsed suddenly in Dade, Miami. Okay? People still don't know. The experts still don't know. I don't know how it collapsed. I know how it collapsed. I know why this happened. I know, something like this is very understandable for an occultist like myself because I understand why this happened. I know what's actually going on, but I don't know the science of how it actually collapsed. I don't know, what was going on with the structure. I don't know what the weight limit was. I don't know any of that, and I'm sure most people don't, right? It literally, if you watch the video, it just collapses. A high rise. I want to say this was a 12-story high-rise, I believe is what it was, 12, and it just collapses. So, with that being said, what does this mean? So some of you are probably thinking right now, what does it mean? Like, you're saying it's connected to the occult, like, what do you mean? Like, can you explain this to me? Well, I'm also going to make another connection. So as we know, back during 9/11, there was an airplane that flew into the Twin Towers, and that caused it to collapse. And as you also know, if you experienced that or if you learned about that event that happened on 9/11, you would know that America, the mass collective consciousness, permanently changed forever. It did. Whether you saw it happen, whether you were alive or not alive at that time frame, it permanently changed the mass collective consciousness. It was a big deal, a very big deal, and it's still a big deal. And yes, there is the component of like, oh my gosh, many lives were lost. It was broadcasted live on TV. There is that traumatic component to it. That's a fact. But there's also an occult, energetic, ritualistic component to that as well. And it's very occult. It's very hidden. And it directly connects back to the 22 archetypal energies within the tarot that are directly associated with the 22 archetypal paths in Kabbalah. The entire backbone and system of occult initiation to gain power. Now, what archetype do you think during the 9/11 time, having the Twin Towers collapse, and then during this time in 2021, having this big building suddenly collapse, being broadcasted on every news channel? Right now, if you go on the news, if you're watching this, you will find it. What archetype within the deck of tarot correlating to the major arcana do you think that's associated with? I'm going to give you a second. Okay? So, you should have came up with the Tower. The Tower. Which is very interesting because literally on my Instagram, I literally, the day before this building collapsed in Miami-Dade County, I posted on my Instagram story the Tower card. I literally posted it on my story the day before this happened. And I quoted, I took a picture of, darkness so I could write a message on it on my Instagram stories. And I quoted, I said, in order for the world to change for its benefit, the current multiverse needs to completely burn to the ground. And then a new one can be rebuilt. And that's what I said. And then the next day, this building suddenly collapses. Okay? So I thought that was fascinating, that I just literally happened to post the Tower, literally the Tower Tarot archetypal card on my Instagram story the day before this happened. Now, let's connect it back to the Tower card. What does this mean? So for those of you that are unaware of what the Tower card means, this means change. A lot of people think the Tower card is a bad card. They're afraid of it. Yeah, there's a lot of fear around the Tower card. People hate the Tower card. But the reality is that there's no such thing as good and bad. The only thing that matters is intentions, right? Like when good things happen to you, wonderful. When terrible things happen to you, okay. It happens. You embrace the experience. You grow from it, and you continue moving forward. That's the only option. What are you going to do? Give up? What are you going to do? Stop? If you are, that sucks to be you. I'm not. Right? So, when it comes to the Tower card, it means sudden change. Big change. Like something, the Tower card is getting struck by lightning. Okay, so in the archetypal tarot, the Tower card gets struck by lightning, energy, creation coming from the sky, from the universe, energy, lightning being energy, coming down as a lightning bolt, striking this tower, igniting instant change. So also in regards to Kabbalah, the way that energy flows is in regards to a lightning bolt. So that's why the lightning bolt is associated with the tower. The energy flows from Kether to Chokmah to Binah to Chesed, Gavura, Tifereth, Netzach, Hod, Yesod, and then down into the physical plane. And even in the, if you watch some of the news videos that are talking about this tower that collapsed in Miami, you will see that one of the guys, the one that I watched at least, because there's a bunch out right now, the one that I watched, the guy literally mentioned the lightning. He mentioned he thought it was a storm, and he thought it was just thunder and lightning. And that's directly linking us in to the tarot tower archetypal major arcana card. Although to the average person, they're on the news watching something like this, they think this is just a random, unfortunate event. But to the high-level occultists, like myself, we watch this and we understand that this is ritualistic in nature, and that if it happened, it needed to happen. And I know this needed to happen. It is unfortunate if you were a part of it. It's unfortunate if you knew anyone that was a part of it. Always that will be unfortunate. if you were to be connected with somebody that was hurt in one of these instances. But in regards to the mass collective evolution, these things are necessary. And once again, when it comes to the archetypal card, the Tower, this represents major, aggressive, fiery change. So the fact that we just saw this tower in Miami, which is in Florida, which is located in the south, okay, northeast, southwest. South is the realm of the soul. South is the realm of the time-like space, which is called the astral. South is the realm of the undead. And those are its primary associations. So we have the soul that is associated with the south. So there's a change to the mass collective and their souls that is on its way. And it just started. But in regards to everyone observing this building collapse, which is in the north, in Dade County. Miami-Dade County is actually in the north, and it's called Surfside. This is all symbolic. There's subtle symbolism here. And if you're someone who, once again, is a professional occultist, you can connect and correlate all the correspondences that are embedded within this. So although Florida is in the south of the United States, that's linking us to the soul, the element of water. Miami-Dade County was in the north, and north is the realm of real number space, physical reality, physical plane, real manifestation. So we have that connection between real manifestation, north and south now. And then it happened in Surfside. And Surfside, what could that correspond to? Are you going to ride this wave of evolution, or are you going to get ran over? And this is funny because I literally say this all the time. I literally say it all the time. I say, you're either going to ride this wave or you're going to get washed over by it. And this is a message to the mass collective. This is what's coming. And I'm going to let you know a little bit more about this card. This means aggressive, fiery change. And this just happened mass collectively, and people are still observing it, which means there is a big change that is going to start happening. And we may not fully understand what it is yet, or what it's going to look like yet. I have a general idea of what it's going to look like and how it's going to feel. But what we can for sure 100% say is that there is a big fucking change that is coming. The Tower card, just like with 9/11, the world was never the same. Well, this is another manifestation, although it's not as necessarily big as 9/11 was. Energetically speaking, this is going to have an extremely profound effect. Very similar to 9/11, where it's the Tower archetype. Getting struck by lightning, struck by creation, coming straight from the universe, all the constellations within our solar system and outside of it, essentially, too. So this change is necessary for evolution. That's what we can understand. And it's aggressive. And the more you try to distract yourself, the more you're trying to act like we're about to go back to a normal world before the pandemic broke out, the more this aggressive change that is literally on its way is going to fuck with you. And it can very well fuck with you to a degree that you are not ready for, and you may not make it through. And we don't, once again, we don't for 100% sure know exactly how it's going to manifest, this change that is on its way. But all we can know 100% sure is that there is something big coming. And this whole time, there's been a lot of change happening as we speak, just like already right now. But now that this Tower card has manifested in real life, and we've seen an actual high-rise fall down, that's a ritual. And that means something is going to forcibly and aggressively shift, change, for the better, thankfully for the better. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be an easy transformation. It doesn't mean it's going to be an easy change. Okay? So that is something that we can definitely say and see is coming in the near future and will forever change the future. Okay? So there is a Hebrew letter associated with the tarot archetype of the tower. And the Hebrew letter is going to be, it's called Pet. Okay? So let's figure out what that means. Pet. Yep. So Pet is in direct connection with the mouth. So it's going to be associated with the Hebrew letter of P, and it's connected to the mouth. And in regards to numerology, it would be associated with the number 80. Okay? So it has to do with the mouth. So this change that is on its way, for sure, is going to change the way people speak. It's going to change the things that are talked about. Because once again, this is a mass collective shift that is needing to happen because evolution is forcing us. And it's ruled, this card is ruled by Mars. And Mars has to do with warfare. Okay, it has to do with aggressive energies. Can also represent divine authority. Can represent fire. A forcible shift that begins something on a direction of growth. Like, for example, you could spend your entire life being a smoker and thinking you're always going to be a smoker till the day you die and that you're just going to be fine, right? And then you wake up one morning, middle-aged, let's say you're like 45 roughly, and you start developing gum cancer because of your smoking. And now you're confronted with, do I continue to smoke and continue to worsen this cancer that I've developed? Or do I put an end to it and hopefully give myself the opportunity to heal from this disease that I've allowed myself to have? That is a great example of the tarot tower major arcana archetype. Okay? So you can imagine that this happening mass collectively, there's something very big happening. And there's a difference between this archetypal tower association in 2021. There's a difference between this one and the one that happened back in 2011, 9/11. There's a difference. What's the difference? 9/11 was strategically done to perform this ritual. So, in regards to, elites, inner Illuminatis, royal families, bloodlines, all people in that nature, they know this technology. And that's why they use it in music videos that get millions of views. That's why they've been controlling every aspect of media, because they know this ritualistic technology. But what separates 9/11's tower archetype from 2021's? They planned 9/11. And I'm not here to be getting involved in conspiracies or whatever. To me, it's not a conspiracy. I know what I know, okay? You don't have to agree with me. I'm not forced, obviously you have your own belief system. I encourage you to believe whatever you want, but I know what's going on. And that was a controlled ritual. This one, although it is a controlled ritual for sure, by occultists like myself, this wasn't planned by any inner Illuminatis. This wasn't planned by any Rothschilds, royal families, inner bloodlines. This was a natural cause by high-level, real seers, shamans, occultists, using occult magic. using intent, using the power of the magicians that know where evolution needs to go. So there is a big difference from what happened in 9/11 as to what happened recently. This is a good shift that is coming. It is going to be tough, and it's going to be frightening for a lot of people. But as long as you're focused on your evolution, your personal evolution, first and foremost, you'll make it through as a risen phoenix. And you'll look back and you'll say, that is the time my entire life changed. And if you don't take up this opportunity, your life will be at risk. And that's just a fact. If you don't take up this opportunity to evolve, focus on your own self-development, your health and your life and everything you think you love will be on the line, and it will be at risk. It will present you the tower, which will be that force of nature that causes you to change. And if you still resist that, you're fucked. And not everyone's going to go with it. Not everyone's going to catch the wave. Not everyone's supposed to. This is also a card that when it happens on a mass collective scale, it can weed out a lot of unnecessary energy. We'll say that. Okay, so that's all I want to say. I don't want to make this video too long. Just know that there's a big change coming. Okay, big change, and this was very ritualistic in nature. So I just wanted to share that for my viewers because I know some of you are really into that stuff and you like to see how it actually manifests in real life. So you heard it here first. Once the change comes, I'm sure a lot of us will recognize, whoa, you know, something big will happen. You know, something big is going to happen in the near future, long-term future. And then, you know, we'll be able to connect it back to, you know, this big ritual that took place naturally and was publicized through all the news channels. Okay? So, without further ado, I'm going to leave it here. As I said, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up. I appreciate that. And if you want to catch my content whenever I post, definitely check out the notification bell and click that, because then you'll know when I post. And also hit that subscribe button, because I post as often as I can, and you definitely don't want to miss out on my content, especially with the things that I'm going to start talking about and the things that I've recently been talking about. I'm talking about a lot of cool stuff, a lot of powerful stuff, and I know it offers a lot of people value too at the same time. So yeah, definitely hit that subscribe button. Also, if you want to gain access to exclusive content, go to my Patreon, which is in the description of this video. You're going to see a link at the very top. Click that link. It's going to take you to my Patreon. It literally says Patreon right next to it. And what I have on my Patreon is a lot of exclusive content. Okay? So I have, as I said, a lot. And it's very, very valuable. So, for example, I have videos that are breaking down the entire Kabbalistic tree. So in regards to the Sephiroth and the Qliphoth. And I break down all the spheres one by one, and I give you their connections. I give you their associations. And I talk about the spirits that are also associated with them. And then I give you my own personal experience having initiated through the spheres myself. Okay, this is very valuable information because, once again, the system of Kabbalah is literally the roadmap of evolution. And this is something that I'm really trying to make known on my channel so that people can really lock in and understand the importance of the occult field in general. It's geared around evolution. And Kabbalah is the roadmap for that. So the more you understand and study Kabbalah, you're going to start slowly and surely understanding where you're at in your own evolutionary journey and where potentially the world is and where other people are. It just gives you a lot more clarity. Okay? So in order to gain access to that exclusive content that I just mentioned in regards to Kabbalah, you have to at least be a Tier 2 member. Okay? Tier 2 is going to be $9.95 a month. And if you do the math, that will literally come out to less than $1 a day. So there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't be able to afford that, especially with the value that I have on there. And that is a promise from me to you, okay? Next thing is tier 3 of my Patreon. So on tier 3, you're gonna be able to gain access to a magic training course. So I just recently started a magic training course, and basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna prime you to develop as much power as you can in the occult field to then get you ready if you're intending this, if you're intending on taking your evolution to that next level and pursuing the path of high magic. So pretty much pursuing the source within yourself. So this magic course that I'm teaching is low magic. So I'm teaching you how to control your reality using the occult field, using occult magic techniques, angel magic, demon magic, necromancy, things of that nature. And then it's going to prep you to then be able to go down the path of high magic, once again, if that's what you're intending. If you want to stay at low magic, by all means, go ahead and stay at low magic. But this is a magic course that I just released recently, and I'm still adding videos to it. So it does have an endpoint, and then it will create that transition phase where then we'll be going into high magic. But as of right now, there is this magic course, and in order to start gaining access to the magic course, you have to at least be a tier 3 member. Okay, so you can start watching over it and decide if it's something that you want to get yourself involved with. So I have that. You gain access to that at tier 3, and then there's tier 4. That's my highest tier. That's going to take you to where I perform a service for you that permanently changes your energy field. Okay, so I call it the vampire service because what I'm doing is I'm changing your energy field to be more so in a universe B state. So I'm going to use my knowledge and wisdom and understanding on occult magic to perform a very specific in-depth ritual, which I've already done a couple times so far, to change your energy field, to insert my energy field, because this is naturally already my energy field. I'm going to insert my energy field into yours, therefore giving you the powers of my energy field. And it's that simple. It's not that complicated, but it's very powerful. And what it does is it teaches you how to feed energy. It's vampiric. Teaches you how to feed off of chaos to increase your power. Be more receptive. Increase your power. Rather than trying to give energy to chaos, trying to prove yourself, trying to show that you're this person, you're that kind of person, you're more powerful. Rather just be receptive. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, and then pull in energy. Fuels your evolution, fuels your power. Okay, so that's what that tier does. It's tier 4, and I have an entire video. If you want to know more about that service, I literally have an entire video that talks about the vampire service that you can find on my YouTube channel. That'll be tier 4. And with that being said, I would like to give a special shout out to all the tier 4 members of the Patreon. Their names are going to be mentioned in that description right below the Patreon link. So I have them in parentheses. All of the top tier members mentioned right there. So huge shout out to all of you, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate all of you for taking your practices specifically, because obviously if you're going to get that service, that's practical, right? That's changing you practically. So, once again, I highly appreciate you for taking your practices to that next level, because that's what's really making, that's what's causing a change, right? Benefits me and it benefits you. And naturally, if I'm benefiting me, you're benefiting you, guess what else is benefiting? The fucking world, okay? The universe, as within, as without, as above, so below. Okay, so huge shout out. Now, second shout out is going to go to all my Patreon members in general. I highly appreciate all of you for taking your knowledge and your practices to that next level as well. You're all great and awesome for that. And then a third shout out to all my YouTube subscribers. I appreciate all of you for tuning in and, taking in this content. Next thing I like to say is definitely make sure you go and you check out the second link below that is within the description. It's going to say Square Appointments. There you can book your own tarot reading with me, and literally what I can do for you on that tarot reading is I can locate exactly where you are on the Kabbalistic tree of life, because I understand it very well. So from this card reading, I can locate where you are on your evolutionary journey, and I use 3 cards. One is going to be for the present, one's going to be near future, and then long-term future. So I can, once again, locate where you are and then tell you what to expect moving into your near future and then your long-term future. And I'm giving you a very subjective reading as well. So it's going to be traditional, but it's not only traditional. Okay, so I'm not going to just pull a card and then in my mind make that connection of like, oh, this card means this, and now I'm going to tell you this. No, I'm going to pull the card and I'm going to read off all the symbolism. I'm going to try to fully understand, you know, your energetic structure as well. And one thing I require for the reading is you telling me the purpose for you getting the reading. So I'm going to also connect it back to that. If there's something that my intuition feels like I need to tell you, I'm not going to hold back. I'm going to let you know. And I'm not going to sugarcoat either. I'm going to tell you exactly what I think you need to hear. And once again, I'm going to read the cards in a way that most people don't read them. So yeah. So if you would like to get your own reading in those regards, definitely check out that second link below that says My Square Appointments. And if you want to learn more about the reading, you can also check that out there too, because I talk about how the reading's done and what I do for it and everything in that nature. So yeah, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day or night wherever you are, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.